So this program is part of our 8-week walking challenge, which is something that WalkArlington puts on generally twice a year. And for this particular fall challenge, we've had 500 people sign up to walk every day for 8 weeks with us. So every week we have a different theme that we focus on. So one week maybe is mindfulness, another week is fitness and health, and this week is nutrition. So that's why we thought it would be fun to have a dietitian and a nutritionist with us and a chef to teach us a little bit about healthy cooking and healthy eating. So at this point, I would like to introduce you to Charmaine Jones. So Charmaine is a registered dietitian nutritionist, and she's the founder and owner of Food Jonezi. And her areas of expertise include nutrition counseling, child nutrition, school health, nutrition education, food labeling, and marketing. She provides consulting services to individuals, businesses, and communities. And she's also an adjunct professor at the University of the District of Columbia, and she provides full-time one-on-one counseling and group workshops at her company, Food Jonezi, that focus on weight and diabetes management, pediatric nutrition, and HIV-related nutritional needs. So now I'm going to just turn everything over to Charmaine and Chef B, who's there in her kitchen, and we'll be making healthy chicken fajita bowls. So without further ado, I will hand it over to Charmaine, and I'm excited to make my good dinner tonight. So thanks a lot to both of you.
Thank you, Mary, for inviting myself and my team to cook along with WalkArlington. I'm very excited to be here and actually provide nutrition recommendations to those who are interested. So I'm just going to pass the mic on to Chef B, who can definitely tell you more about herself and what we'll be cooking tonight.
Thank you, Charmaine. Hello, everybody. My name is Chef B, also known as Brittany. I am a food blogger / a home cook / I like traveling the world to eat as well. But my love for cooking always starts in the home. So I'm all about easy, quick recipes that are actually good. That's the key word. Good, quick, and easy. And I'm excited to be with you guys tonight. I hope that you have plenty of questions. Please reach out to us. Me and Charmaine are here to answer any questions that you may have. So first and foremost, we are using chicken breast. I know somebody asked earlier, why chicken breast? A lot of people always say chicken breast dries out very easily. Chicken breast will dry out if you overcook it. If you don't overcook it, chicken breast is actually really, really juicy. So first and foremost, I'm just gonna wash my hands really quickly. I need to make sure that my hands are clean. So for chicken breast, I normally like to use a cutting knife, a kitchen knife. It just makes it a lot easier for me to cut it. I'm very precise. You can also use a knife, but I prefer some shears, so it just makes it easy. So I normally cut it into like some strips. We are doing a fajita chicken bowl, so I kind of want to give myself the whole feel as if I'm eating fajita strips at a Mexican restaurant. You can cut these pieces up. You can cut them as big as you want, as small as you want. I try to do a fairly medium. When I say medium, it's small to medium, only because I want to make sure that my chicken is absorbing all of the juices from the seasonings that I'm going to be using. You can also cut the chicken in half if you want, but you don't have to. You really can just cut it up into pieces like that. We're going to wash our hands again, guys. One thing, after cutting up meat, you should always wash your hands. I think that's just like kitchen 101. Because it is chicken, and we know chicken has, bacteria, germs, and I get a fresh paper towel for the most part. And we're just going to move this over and bring in our veggies as well. So I have some black pepper, I have cayenne powder, ground cumin, and we also have chili powder. I put all the seasonings in here and it made this beautiful color, just to let you guys know. Since you've cut up your chicken, just sprinkle half of that over it. And me, I like to actually massage my chicken. I like to massage the seasonings into the chicken. You guys go ahead, make sure you massage your seasonings into your chicken. Also include your lime juice that you're going to put in there. I think it was about a teaspoon. So make sure you go ahead and do that. And you can kind of put that to the side because it just makes it easier once you kind of let that sit on its own. So the lime juice actually would go into a container. You can just have a separate bowl. And I normally put the chicken in there, put the lime juice in there, and then I would sprinkle seasoning over it and mix it all with your hands. Make sure you also wash your hands as well. Please wash your hands before you decide to start touching anything else in your kitchen, knives, veggies, all the above.
Just like Chef B said, that food safety is very important in the kitchen. Not only food safety is important, but knife skills are always important in the kitchen. So making sure that you handle your knife properly, making sure that you wash your hands, and keeping fresh produce away from raw meats is very, very important, and it's a very good technique to always keep in mind when you're in the kitchen cooking.
Agree. That's actually why when I had the raw chicken, so I have multiple cutting boards. When I do my meats, I usually put it on plastic as opposed to wood. It's just something about meats on wood. They just don't mix in the long run when you're washing it. So that's just kind of my advice. So we can go ahead and move over to the veggies. So we have a red bell pepper, a green bell pepper, and an onion that have already been cut in half, but we're going to go ahead and cut some more. So I like to cut mine in half, and I remove the center, the seed area, everything. So I normally get a knife that looks like this. It's a basic cushion art, nothing fancy, guys, trust me. Your friendly TJ Maxx or something has it in stock. But when I cut, I like to cut I don't like to put my fingers too close, and I hope it doesn't show that my fingers are very close to the bell peppers. But I pretty much cut at an angle so it gives me the bell peppers that are linked as opposed to wide. I like a longer look to it. And as you get to this area where the bell pepper gets smaller, I normally just hold it from the tip. Because like Charmaine said, we're all about food safety. And then sometimes, honestly, you can just lay it flat because at that point, you only have so much left of the bell pepper. And then...
Yep. So fun fact about bell peppers. Did you know that when you look at the bell pepper and at the bottom of a bell pepper, if it's three bulbs at the end, that is a female bell pepper. But if there's 4 bulbs, lobes at the end of the bell pepper, that's a male bell peppers. In addition to bell peppers, they are very high in vitamin C. They're actually higher in vitamin C than oranges. And they are high in fiber as well. So if you like to snack on bell peppers with hummus for snacks during the day, that is great. And it's also a great source of vitamin C.
Charmaine, I never knew that. I never knew that bell peppers had different sexes, guys.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know bell peppers is a male bell pepper. It's a male bell pepper and a female bell pepper. Yeah.
Look at that, y'all. We're learning something new. So pretty much, we've cut up some veggies. So I cut pretty much, I don't know if you can really see. This is my onion. So I cut everything in half. I think I have a problem. So I cut my onion in half as well. It's not really in strip. It's it's like an arch. I cut it at an arch, and then it pretty much goes down like this. So they easily fall. And when they fall, they're long like this. All right. So now that we've cut up our veggies, our chicken has been sitting in its lime juices, we are going to transfer over to the cooking part. So I have a gas stove. I don't know how many of you all have gas stoves. Gas stoves cook really quickly, but I'm gonna keep the fire a little low because the food will cook very fast. So I turned it on between like a 2 and a 4 for the most part for a gas stove. If you have a electric stove, I would definitely say put it more on like medium. I think it's about like 6.5, 7. Because medium might be like 5. Only because gas, when it heats up, when it gets warm and it starts cooking, it cooks very quickly. So I'm letting that warm up. We're going to pour a little bit of olive oil in here just for the chicken. So we have our chicken that has been marinating in its juices and all of its glory, that I like to call it. I don't want to put the chicken in here and then it starts, popping at me, because grease does hurt or oil hurts. So I normally use tongues just to place the chicken in there.
As you cooking, Ms. Robin stated that learning cooking chicken in olive oil. So cooking chicken in olive oil is a very good practice. It's almost like pan-searing because olive oil doesn't have a very high temperature point or cooking point. So your oil is not going to get too high. Therefore, if you cook your chicken in olive oil, you're mostly pan-searing it. So, which is a good technique as well, because it prevents you from deep frying or frying chicken, right? So if you want something that is quick and quick to make, and you don't want to bake, because sometimes baking can take too long, pan-searing is a very good very good option and easy option to prepare your meat as well. So just remember, olive oil, a plant-based oil like olive oil, safflower oil, has a very low cooking point. So they would never get your chicken any type of protein like crisp, but they definitely are good to use to pan-sear proteins. So yes, cooking chicken in olive oil is always a good option.
So our chicken is cooking. I usually let it cook for about 4-ish minutes on each side. I say that 4-ish minutes. I know the recipe calls for 10, maybe 5. It's because I have a gas stove. So like I said, it will cook a little bit quicker than the electric. Electric will probably normally take about 8 minutes because you want to make sure that your chicken is actually cooked through. And then you don't want it to dry out as well. Yeah, I would say electric about 8 minutes. But you can also notice when your chicken is beginning to dry out. If it's starting to dry out, you can flip it.
Good question. Someone asked, curious, what do you think of some of these oils that are more expensive, like avocado or walnut or coconut oils? Are they really much better for you and worth the expense? So they all comes with one powerful punch, and that one important nutrient, which is omega-3s and omega-6. So no, they are if I get walnut oil versus avocado oil, if you're looking at a nutrition value, you're getting the same value, which is omega-3s and omega-6, but the flavor is a little different. Their avocado oil may be a little bitter, or maybe a little sweeter than the walnut oil. Now, coconut oil, you want to be very, very careful because although coconut oil is a plant-based derivative, it's still very high in saturated fat. So anytime an oil solidifies at room temperature, it's still high in saturated fat. So you want to always be moderate with that oil. So coconut oil is good, but it's very high in saturated fat, which can increase your bad cholesterol as well. It acts as butter. That's why so many people love coconut oil, because it gives you that buttery flavor and taste. So that's one plant-based oil that is very high in saturated fat. So we always recommend that you use that moderately, in moderation.
You literally have to just keep looking at it, making sure that it's not dried out. But you don't want to undercook it, because you can easily think your chicken is done and it's not finished. It may look like it's cooked, but really it's not. So for those of you with an electric stove, maybe you should cut your time down. What do we say? I would cut it down to maybe like 5 minutes or less. Because depending on what your heat setting is, you may need to lower your heat as well, because your chicken may be cooking a little quick. Even if you turn your stove off, your chicken will still cook. So I just like to pull my skillet up and just like kind of move it around. Like I said, I'm really big on juices and flavors and all of that absorbing together. So once you flipped it over, you let your chicken sit for, cook on the other side.
And just like Chef B said, when you remove your chicken from the pan, it's still cooking. So that's where I think a lot of people feel like dry out their chicken at that point. After that 7 minutes of cooking time, just remove your chicken off the stove, or take it away from the heat a little bit, because it's still cooking.
Right.
And that's where you can savor some of that juiciness.
Great. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the same aisle that's pretty much already warm for the veggies. We have removed the chicken. So that's sitting on a unused aisle that is pretty much cool. And like Charmaine said, the chicken is pretty much done. It's literally going to cook itself for the rest. Because at that point, you pretty much cooked majority of the chicken. So now we're going to get to the veggies. The veggies are not going to take any time to cook. For veggies, I like a little bit of olive oil just to get it going. Luckily, we have diced tomatoes. So I'm using a Rotel.
Someone asked before I asked, someone said, should you wipe the meat juice out of the pan?
I say leave it.
Good. Okay. Tastes good.
Yeah.
And that's where you get a lot of flavor from the meat juice. It's more flavorful.
Yeah. The color on the chicken is amazing. Like with the spice mix, it looks delicious.
Mm-hmm. And that's really what it is the spice mix. So all the ingredients in here may look more like caramelized-ish. If you use more basils, you can also use, there's so many spices, guys. You guys use sea salt, garlic powders, but I say leave it in the juices, let it just sit. You should still have some kind of like oil residue in there. It makes it so much more juicy, trust me. Yeah.
Okay.
And I love when Chef B said, cooking is colorful and it's your kitchen. So that means you should be able to add flavor to your food. Don't be afraid to add different spices to spice up your food. We always recommend powders, especially for those who may be battling with high blood pressure or hypertension. You always want to stick with powders versus salts. So garlic powder, just like Chef B said, onion powders, paprika for that color. All of those different herbs and seasoning bring so much flavor to your dish, and also give it a different like twist to it. So your kitchen, all of those beautiful spices that you may just have just on your counter, you should just really use them. You'd be surprised.
I agree. I think somebody said Rotel. Guys, Rotel is my friend. Me and Rotel, our relationship, it's real. It's real. I love Rotel for that reason.
What is Rotel, Chef B?
Rotel is diced tomatoes and green chilies, but I got the original. It just adds an extra layer of guys. I don't know if you don't use Rotel, but I use Rotel. I'm from Texas originally, so Rotel to us is like, when you say diced tomatoes, I go for Rotel. So I did put some oil in here. I put a little bit. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I've been pretty much circulating the oil around because I'm getting ready to stir fry the veggies. I didn't put too much oil, probably about a tablespoon, but I want to make sure that it was enough to coat the pan and then get the veggies going. So we have our chopped up green bell peppers. We're going to pop in there. Also, your stove, this is going to cook very quickly. Literally, everybody's is going to be about 4 minutes at max. These veggies cook very quickly. So my electric people, you can keep your stoves on medium high. My gas people, I would say keep it on 4 max, but once it starts cooking, it's going to cook very quickly, guys. So just stay mindful of that. We're adding in our onions. I don't know if you can really see that. These are my little bowls. And then we have our red bell peppers.
Ooh.
Add those in. I love color. For this, we're going to grab a fresh spoon because we will not be using our tongs that we use on a chicken. those tongs are done. So you can just, whatever you use to cook the chicken, just go ahead and put it in the sink because we're not using it anymore. No offense, but we're not. So I like to kind of make sure that everything fits. Trust me, it's going to fit. Don't worry, you can make it fit. On top of that, we have our diced tomatoes, our Rotel mix, so we can go ahead and just pour it in there. I kept the juice. I like juices. Sorry, guys.
So for those who don't have Rotel, maybe the next time when you make this dish, you definitely can use Rotel.
Your diced tomatoes will work. Trust me, your little seasoning concoction is going to be perfect. We're going to use some of it. I would not advise putting all the seasoning in there because that's a lot of seasoning, guys. That's too much. So I would just get like some for my fingers and kind of sprinkle it around. And that's enough. Whatever's left, you can actually empty it in there, or you can go to your sink and just like literally, pat your hands off, rinse your hands just to get that excess seasoning. But I will say this, you're going to have extra seasoning. You don't have to use all the seasoning. The seasoning is there just to, help you make sure that you have flavor in your food. But also if you're cooking for maybe one person or 2 people, that's more than enough seasoning. If you're cooking for a family and you have like multiple pieces of chicken, then we can get into you using more of the seasoning. But it's okay if you trash it. It's all right, guys. Seasoning, you have a full bottle of everything, so it will be okay. Don't worry.
So someone asked, do you find Rotel at any store? I feel like I've never seen it before.
Guys, you know what? You missed it. It's there. So pretty much, yeah, I am a Aldi girl. I'm a Lidl girl. Those are my grocery stores. You can definitely find Rotel there. Actually, you can't find that at Aldi. Let me stop. If you go Harris Teeter, Giant, Safeway, you can definitely find it. Shoppers, but I don't know if they have any more. But yeah, if there's a Shoppers Value, they have Rotel. Like I said, Giant, Safeway, Harris Teeter. Trader Joe's does not sell it. Whole Foods does not sell it.
So do you find it in the cultural section, or is it
It's literally by tomato. It's by tomato paste. It's by stewed tomatoes. It's like it's normally at the top shelf or the medium shelf, but when you start getting to the diced tomatoes, it's a brand. The brand is called Rotel, and that's how I've always identified it as Rotel. But in my head, that's diced tomatoes. So yeah, but it's literally, you guys have seen it. It's so funny. You're gonna go into the grocery store and be like, "Oh my God, there's Rotel." I never noticed it until now. But yeah, it's right in your canned goods section and everything.
Did you drain your canned tomatoes or did you just pour it in there?
I poured some of the juice in there because I like to blend lots of flavors together. That's one thing about me. I like to blend the flavors together. It's going to cook out and it's going to incorporate, it's going to mix in with the, what is in here? The olive oil is going to mix in with that. It's going to mix in with the seasoning mix that you've created. So it's going to give you a different flavor than what you probably would have expected from the beginning.
So yeah, it's the juice from the chicken and it's all, and that's fresh juice. So instead of getting chicken broth, right, you can definitely use the cooked chicken juice that marinates from the chicken. That's cooked from the chicken. It's the Rotel sauce. It's the vegetables. All of those juices all come together and just make a savory taste, which gives your food extra flavor. Lisa, let me see that again. I guess Lisa said, "I'm not playing. I'm going to cook this dish."
She probably had it all chopped ahead of time.
That looks good.
Looks
Look at
really
that eatable.
That looks yum. So
no, but
guys, the juices are actually kind of cooking out of this. So it's in here, but the juices have absorbed into the veggies. So we're going to just let those cook for a little bit longer. We're going to go ahead and get the beans started. So I did get some low sodium beans. You guys can see right here, or no salt added. Sorry, it's just no salt added, AKA low sodium. Okay. So what I did was just, pop the top off and pour it out, pour the syrup, as I like to call it, the syrup that they give to preserve the beans. We're going to go ahead and turn this burner on. The beans are going to take no time. You can honestly put your beans on high for 3 minutes and they'll be warm. Because pretty much all you're doing is warming up the beans. So our little fajita mix is almost done. One thing about it, you don't want to overcook your veggies. You still want a little bit of a crunch. And I think that's what some people sometimes they'll end up overcooking it. I probably should have put more green bell peppers in there, but
so to tell that your vegetables are at its doneness is when your vegetables become very bright. When you're cooking your vegetables and they're really bright, that means the nutrients are really excited. So not, like they started to come out more. And that's when you want to eat your vegetables. You don't want to eat them until the color of the vegetable goes dull. You want to eat them at its bright and crunchiness, because that's where you get all of your nutrients, all your nutrient contents. In addition to that, you don't want to break down the cell walls, which is your fiber. So you want to keep that fiber. Your black beans are giving you fiber. For those who are vegan or vegetarian, you can double up them black beans for more for that protein. So yeah, that beans are very good and sometimes are overlooked as well.
Beans are So we have some cauliflower rice. You guys can see this. I did get this from Harris Teeter, guys. I got it from Harris Teeter, the frozen veggie aisle. Got this. It's frozen. We're going to pop it in the microwave. You can make cauliflower rice from scratch. It's really not that difficult, but today we're going to use the microwave. So it calls, I don't have to puncture the bag or anything. I literally am going to put the bag face down like this for about 4 minutes. After this is done, we're going to start plating everything because these veggies are pretty much done. And our beans will be done too.
So one thing about this dish, this chicken fajita bowl is so versatile. You can add cauliflower rice, you can add broccoli, you can add spinach, you can add kale. It's how you build up your own fajita bowl. So instead of going to Chipotle, you can create your own Chipotle bowl at home, but make it more healthier, with fresher vegetables, with fresher ingredients. It's quick, just like Chef B showed you. You can go get some cauliflower rice that is pre-prepared and pop it in the microwave to warm it up and add to the dish. It's all about how you want to create your dish. Remember, it's your kitchen.
Absolutely.
One person just said about salt, and exactly one thing at Food Jonezi, and what I try to promote is we try to eliminate salt as much as possible. Cardiovascular diseases are on the rise, so we do not want to encourage salt using all the time. We really want people to really taste the flavor without salt. Now, salt is an enhancer, but so are your spices and your onions and your herbs and the flavors from the chicken and all of those juices coming together. It does give you a different clean but flavorful taste that you really don't need the salt.
I have a question about the lime too. Like, what does that do? Does that tenderize the meat, or because it has like a really nice coating. It's just really good. The chicken, I'm wondering if the lime did that, or is it the spices? Like, what would it have been like without the lime?
So the lime is what I noticed that all my chefs use, even Chef B, but lime definitely gives it a citrus flavor. Is what they use sometimes to enhance the flavor. It's almost like a liquid salt to some chefs. So it does give that flavor that you think you're that you think that you're getting, that you might miss if you don't use salt. So, and it also has lime also have a citrus taste. So it's giving it a little tangy taste to that poultry too. So lime is what actually, I want to say, exacerbate that flavor or enhance that flavor a little more.
And I actually prefer to marinate, especially when I'm cooking chicken breast. I like to marinate my chicken breast in lime juice, in the seasonings. It holds in the flavor actually a little bit better too. So, to Charmaine's point.
Yep. Charmaine, what do you think of salt substitute? Do you like it? Salt substitutes are fine. You definitely want to be careful with some salt substitutes because they still have a hint of salt in it. So for those who are battling hypertension, salt substitutes are good. And just like in your recipe, there was you created a seasoning that doesn't require salt. So you have all of these seasonings in your kitchen. You can create your own salt substitute or non-salt spice right at home. So all you have to do is take out some black pepper, some oregano, rosemary, all of those different seasonings that you have, create your own versus going out and buying Mrs. Dash. You got the ingredients, just mix them up.
And so we're going to go ahead and get some of this rice in here, just for the heavenly sake. One bag of this rice actually can go a long way.
That looks good.
It can definitely go a long way. I may have put a little bit too much.
And as you all know, just like Chef B said, if some people, some of us are scared of rice for some reason, and cauliflower rice is a very good alternative. Then you have your black beans, which is also a complex carb, which is high in fiber. So that looks good. Look at that dish. Go on, Chef B. That looks good already.
We have that. Let's get some peppers in there. Or do we want chicken first?
It's going to have so much beautiful color.
Yeah. And you want your dish to be colorful. Although we aim for all 5 groups, having half your plate vegetables is what will allow you, or what will allow you to get that recommended fiber serving that we always preach about, like always eat more fiber. So if half your plate is vegetable, then that is giving your body the fiber it needs, is giving your body that antioxidant, those nutrients that you might feel like you missed at lunch or at another meal. So making your plate, half your plate vegetable, is something that you should always aim for. Look at that. Someone said they're going to add corn. Make sure you only add a half a cup, because that's the serving size, a 1/4 to a half a cup of corn.
So I did see corn in the picture, guys. I didn't add corn because winter is here and it's coming. And, we still have fitness goals, guys. So I love corn. I really do. But when I was like either corn or rice, I just feel like I can't do corn and rice. Like that's pushing it. But if you have corn, please enjoy it for me. I'm still on this walking challenge, and, I'm trying to keep it frame. So I didn't make any homemade guac, but I did buy guac. You can make guac, but next time.
I made some.
Huh?
I made some.
Oh, look at you.
And the pico de gallo.
Okay. So we're going to put a little guac right there.
I saw something in Harris Teeter, and it's half guac, half pico de gallo. I didn't have to buy 2 things, but it's half and half. So like the pico is on the top and then the guac is underneath.
Ooh,
that's good.
Oh, that was smart. I didn't want that Harris Teeter.
Smart marketing.
For those who don't want guac, you can just always take an avocado and chop it up and put it on your dish as well. So
honestly, and it tastes great that way. And you can add some little cilantro just to be fancy, because why not? Not too much, because cilantro does have a really kind of bite to it. So just keep that in mind. Maybe we'll add one more just for the optics of it. Or maybe I'll
That looks really pretty.
And guys, we got some veggies, our chicken, our beans, our cauliflower rice, and guac. I know that this is nutrition. We're all trying to do better. Portion control is very important, which is why I had to run and go get a different plate. I was like, hold on. Brittany, what are you doing? Portion control. So this plate is full, but it's not too full. And, it's just enough. And I think for guys, I'm normal. I'm human just like you. And one of my biggest things that I'm learning is when I eat enough, but when I'm at a good point, just stopping. But definitely, portion control, get a nice size. You can plate it, you can play with it, you can snack on it. And that's all I really.
The dish is delicious.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us for this cooking class, cook along. I hope you enjoyed it. We welcome your feedback. Thank you, Chef B, for sharing this amazing dish and your skills. Your energy was everything. I really appreciate you all. And again, thank you for taking the time out to cook along with WalkArlington and Food Jonezi. And hopefully we see you next month.
Absolutely.